Hello Flosstube, welcome back to Journals and Stitches, episode number 2. I think this will be, no, we'll cut this, no. Hello Flosstube, welcome back to my channel Journals and Stitches. My name is Christina and this is Flosstube number 2, and on today's Flosstube we'll go through my stats, what I've worked on, and at the end we'll have some journaling and shout outs to different Flosstubers that I watch. And I'll also give you when my next Flosstube should be up at the very end. If you like what you see, please leave a comment, give me a like, and hopefully you'll like it enough to want to just subscribe. Okay, so I'll give you some more introduction about me first. So I figured I would tell you how long I've been stitching. I stitched quite a bit when I was younger. I think I kept it up until I was 16, maybe 16, 17. But all I could find were different dimensions kits, and they started to not be my style or what I wanted to stitch or have up in any home I could think of. Some of them I stitched for family members, my mom, my grandma, who had tastes that were kind of along the lines of a lot of dimensions kits. They like florals, they like that sort of thing. And here in Sweden at the time, all I knew of was the different dimensions kits I could find. I could find Permin of Copenhagen as well, maybe a Lenarte or 2, but they weren't very common. And there is one shop here that's like really big called Atelier Margareta, and they're quite expensive. So I just got discouraged from stitching. I had no idea about Etsy or independent designers or any other kit makers. I had no idea, so I got out of stitching. Then a few years ago, I decided I would finally finish a dimensions kit I had started. I had forgotten a lot about cross stitch and my back was atrocious, so I figured let's go to YouTube and see if they can give me any tips on what I could do differently. And that's when I actually found Flosstube, and they were showing like, this is from this designer and this is from this kit, and they were completely new to me. And so with a little Googling, I found a lot, and I was like, oh, you can stitch this? You can kit up your own stuff? How do you do that? And so that's what I did. I found Heaven and Earth Designs had from my favorite artist, Margaret Morales. And I was like, yep, that's gonna be my first stitch that I start after years and years years of not stitching at all. But it's just one cross after the other, and eventually it'll be an amazing design. I'll show it eventually. I showed it in my WIP parade, and I'll probably get back to it at some point during the year. So after I got back into stitching, I've probably been stitching for maybe 2 or 3 years now. And then I figured I would tell you what other hobbies I do, which is quite a lot. I'm trying to figure out what I most enjoy and try and hobby down, so to speak. I do enjoy paint by numbers. I did a little dabble into diamond painting, but no, not for me. So I have quite a few paint by number kits, and I think I'll go through them, and when they're done, they're done. And we'll see if I order more. I do quite enjoy painting. I sew. I like to sew clothes. I'm not very good at it yet, but it's something I want to work towards to be. I have a lot of fabric to make clothes from, so I do quilt a little. I'm trying not to start too many quilts so I can finish them one after the other, so I don't have too many started that aren't finished. I probably do other crafts as well. Oh, I knit, but that is also a hobby I'm trying to push down because it's not something I'm like, oh, I just want to knit all the sweaters. I'm like, no, not really, not anymore. I used to, but now it's like I can consider a hat or socks. That's it. That's all I can knit right now. I don't feel anything else. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Okay, and if you're wondering why I keep looking down, I do have notes here. Okay, so stats for February. I have worked on 6 projects throughout the month. I have, incredibly enough, I have stitched 12,142 stitches during the month of January. My WIP goals for this month, or for January, were 100 stitches and 1,400 stitches. Needless to say, I have met those goals. And I count them all towards my Haid Stitch Along to keep that rolling and moving forward. And I think that's what I'll use my WIP board for, just to make sure that I can at least get the 6-page finish, but my goal for the whole year is 50% on the whole project. So finishes, absolutely none. I have no new starts either. I have only worked on current WIPs. 2 of the current WIPs are WIPs I hadn't found for my WIP parade, so they're new to you. I will insert, I do have pictures from before I started. So let's start with the stitch along. So this is what it'll be when it's finished. It's amazing. It's a design from L&L Designs. I can probably guarantee that it's AI generated, or at least somewhat generated by AI, but I love the image. It's amazing and I don't care. Not so. I try to stay away from AI most of the time because usually it's just confetti and unnecessary confetti because the designer hasn't bothered to clean it up. But I try to stay away from it. I would rather have original artwork by someone that's amazing and that has been transformed into cross stitch. But this is what it looked like around the time of my WIP parade. And this is what it looks like now. You can totally see what it'll be. You can kind of tell there's a jellyfish coming in here. Yeah, you can totally see what it is. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. The confetti is unreal. I tried doing kind of like the Royal Rose method up here, but I just couldn't do it. It was so much confetti. It just became a total rug at the back. So I've abandoned that. I'm doing cross country instead. It goes so much faster. I'm still not going to show you my back because it looks awful, but who cares? The front is pretty. So this is done 2/1 half cross on 22 or 23 count Hardanger fabric. Oh, it looks so good. I cannot wait to get back to this. Almost have page finish. 1 out of 6. Okay, any coffee? Okay, so next project is called Mermaids. If you will remember, it is this one. And I am sorry about the sun coming through my window here, but yeah, it's an amazing piece. It's not the typical fancy, pretty, cutesy mermaid, and I just love the image. So, and for this one, I've done 1,526 stitches. My total for this is 6.90%, and I'm keeping it in a markup app that is called Saga. I actually found a Saga file for it, and this is done on 28 count Star Sapphire linen. Not sure more than that who it's from, but that many stitches has put it quite a ways forward. And there are blends, there are backstitch and all that, and the Saga app keeps track of everything. So my 6.90% is actually for the completed project, including backstitch, which is really cool. And you can, again, you can totally see what it's gonna be. However, this is one of the mermaid's hair, and here is where the first mermaid's face will start to come in. And this is all background. So this is where the ship is, the tattered sails. I have not started backstitching as of yet, but next time I think I can start. It's not a ton of backstitch in the background. It's mostly on the mermaids, the fish, and the skeletons that are backstitched. So until I get to those, there's not much to backstitch. Next pattern is the Pokemon. The original design is from Lord Libidon. I'm doing the expanded version, as it's called, and the max color was from someone in a Pokemon Facebook group, and I'm using her conversion into the extended because she only does the normal one where it's cropped. So I'm using her conversion to extend it out into the part that she didn't do. But I did 1,507 stitches on this. Oh, I have so many hanging threads. And here I'll have a photo of where it was before. And now I'll show you what I have. I can't see what you're seeing. Yeah. And I was focusing, so I finished like the antennae of Dragonite. I worked a lot on, what's that one? I can't remember the name of that Pokemon. I've also started on Eevee. Here, I did a lot on Mewtwo, which is coming in here. And this is where Snorlax is laying down. I have a few other Pokemon that are like kind of started. I think I have Ditto here, I think. And I'm almost done with Gyarados. He comes over here a little, and then there's other Pokemon that cover the rest of them up. But yeah, and I also need to fill in the background color and bring it over a bit. This whole page is completely finished, but I need to bring the background color over. It does go in among the Pokemon as well, so I need to bring it over. And that will also give me another page finish, because that's all I have left on the second page, which is just the background color. But I want to do that when it's not being used for a goal, because I want to focus on getting like the Pokemon done, but I also need the background done. So, but this is done 1/1 full cross on 25 count, even weave fabric. Yeah, it's doing really good. I'm really happy with it, and I cannot wait to have it up on my wall. The next one is, again, the second one I didn't show you in my WIP parade. This is the World Travel Bookshelf. The artwork is by Amy Stewart. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And it's a large size, normal colors. And I have done this month 1,526 stitches, and I'm at 0.75%, so I'm not even a full percent in on this piece. It is huge. But it is a bookshelf. I hope it'll be okay. I know a lot of people say that the Amy Stewart patterns are best done in max color. I do have one of her patterns that is max color, super size. Yet to be started. I want one bookshelf going at a time, but I've realized. But yeah. So this is what I've done so far. And this, I think it's in India, because I think it's during their Festival of Colors, I think it's called, because this is like a, it's like there's been color thrown up. Yeah. It is still a lot of confetti. So much confetti. But it continues on this way. And I think the page ends here. But yeah. And this was started as 1/1 full cross. I am now converting it into 2/1 10 stitch, so it goes faster. I tried keeping up with the 1/1 full cross since it was started that way, but it was going really, really slow. So I just started with 10 stitch or half cross, and it went so much faster. So that's what I've decided to do with all my projects that are full coverage except Pokemon. I'm going to convert them, page finish or not, into half stitch. And it's a bed sheet. So, but it'll hopefully look really good on the wall when it's finished. Next piece is one of my two chatelaines that I have started. This one is for my sister. And it is the one that is called Just Japanese Garden by Chatelaine. There is another one that is called Japanese Zen Moss Garden by Chatelaine, and I have that one started as well. That is going to be for me. But I put in a lot into this, I put 1,567 stitches into this project. And I tried to get a lot of the center most tile finished. But 1,567 stitches doesn't finish it. And I do count, I use this as a project goal for one of the games that I'm doing. And that game has it where if you do a specialty stitch, each leg counts as one stitch. And chatelaines use quite a lot of specialty stitches in their patterns, so I managed to get quite a lot done, but it needs to be done anyway, so, but this is what I have. I will insert a picture here of what I had last time, and if I can, I will also insert a image of what it'll look like, sort of, from when it's finished. When you purchase the file, they don't give you a cover image. Like if you buy a PDF from a designer on Etsy, for example, you'll have an image of what it'll look like finished, like with the mermaids. But this one, the chatelaine company doesn't do that, so you have to go to Instagram or their gallery to find something. But oh well. But this is what I have so far, and it looks really good. But there is so much beads. Oh my goodness. So all of these, so the water is done except for back stitch and beads. So all of the white spots here in the water is going to be beads. All of this, these cornerstones here, beads. Here and this, beads. Between here and here are images. They're going to be more stitched, and then there's another row around, and then you have a final border, and then you have some more down here, including some 1/1 stitching, but it's gonna look amazing. So yeah, so the Torii gate is coming along really, really nicely. I have finished this side here. I am almost finished on that side. The middle where it's white, or it's not white, it's a light green, but this is a silk. And then there's more road stitches up here and up here, and yeah. But I did a lot. I'm really happy with my progress. But next time we'll keep up. We'll keep going with the Torii gate and try and get it done, and then work on the border, because then there's a lot of backstitch that goes into the middle where you have clouds and waves on the water. And I was debating for a long time if I should fill out on top of the water with something for a sky so it's not green, but it'll just have to be what it is. So it's enough work as it is. I don't need to give myself more work. Hey, Bubba. Hey. 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 Come on. Hey. This is my lovely little poodle. His name is Ezio. If you get the reference, good on you. He loves the sun, so he's now sitting in my stitching chair, which has full sun on it, so he's really happy. Okay, last project is called Goddess of Coffee. The artist is Echo Chernik, and it is charted by Unconventional X-Stitch. And in January, I did 711 stitches on this one, and I'm now at 0.91%. And it is still in the hoop because my goal I need to finish for this one is 1,500 stitches at least. And like I said, with the bookshelf, I started 1/1 full crop. I think this is 28 count. Yes, I think so. So this is 28 count, but I am now converting it to 2/1 tent, and I'm currently working on page 2. Yeah. So the background is the same as this, but there's steam rising, so it's a lot lighter here. I realized I made a mistake, of course, in the bottom, but we'll just fudge it. So this is the pattern, and I'm here, so you can see the steam comes up here, so it becomes a lot lighter. And I'll just work along the top all the way to the end, And here there's like a thick red band that is actually not stitched. So I'll have to see when I do her feathers here at the side. Since it is on white fabric, I'll have to figure out if they stand out enough or if I'll just like back stitch around it or something. So I'm just working along top edge so far. There is that. So now for journaling. If you were only here for cross stitch, at the end I'll mention some Flosstubers that I want to shout out that I regularly watch. And also at the end I'll tell you when I will film and hopefully upload my next Flosstube. So you can just skip ahead a little bit. So my old journal I showed in my first video is a bullet journal that you can buy from the Stodum. I can't say. And I was trying to have a lot of different things in that journal. I was trying to keep up with WIP Go, my yearly goals, Flosstube, different events that I'm going on, like retreats. I have all my WIPs in there, and it was starting to be a lot, along with having weekly spreads for things. And since I was putting so much into that journal, it was getting messy and I couldn't find things. So I have purchased a new journal, and that's just going to be for planning and keeping track of things like my cross stitching, and the old one will be for trips and Flosstube, so I can easily keep them separated and I can find things easier. So in my new journal, I have decided to start fresh, obviously, and just try and keep things in an orderly manner. I did try a few new techniques. But this journal I want to have in like a Japanese style theme throughout the year. So this is my cover image, and I tried to erase something while the ink here was still wet, so that smudge. Not doing that again. Here is my index, and I decided to put in a year at a glance, and these are all stamped, but my stamp didn't have a full 1 week that started on a Monday. So for December and September, I had to put them in as though they were started on Sunday. So I put in Sunday, Monday, just to remind myself that that's how they are made. So I remind myself about that. And I then put in a yearly spread of what's going on throughout the year. And these are also stamped, which was a bit of a mess to figure out how to stamp properly. January is already gone, but I put in through February birthdays, thing, events, and then at the bottom I've added when we have our Melody Festival, which is our competition here in Sweden, where we choose who will represent us in the Eurovision, which is in May. I've also added from March forward when we have all the Grand Prix. So as you can see, I put in the Grand Prix, And Japan is my theme for the year because I'm actually going to Japan this year. So this is the rest of the year. September was a disaster, so I ended up like just putting in and stamping on a separate piece of paper and gluing that in. But yeah, and all the days that we have that are holidays, I guess you would call them, and Sundays are boxed in red, because if I tried to color it in like as dots, the ink from the stamp smeared. So here I have a cleaning schedule, which I've took from someone else on Instagram. And these are my goals for the year. So this is for getting Jelly World to 50%. I have realized that I have made a mistake. I'm not at 10%. I'm at 5%. After February, I should be at 10%. So I'll just not fill that in again. Diner Dreams, I want 4,510 stitches. And that has been picked for my next goal after Goddess of Coffee is finished. My epic Pokemon, I want 30 Pokemon finished. And after the rain, I would like to have it finished to my next Essex Needles retreat in September. So I've done it within a year. I'm almost at 40%. And that is also in Saga, so I know exactly how far along I am on the total. Image, my book trackers. So this I'll just color in as I go, and here I will put in images of the books I've read. I have a few up here that I'm currently working on. So I'll glue them down when I'm actually finished with them, just to kind of show myself what I've read. So here are my WIP goals. So this is my WIP board. I have down here to keep track of the rewards I give myself for when I actually achieve bingo. 7 and 8 have been called, which are up here. So nowhere near a bingo yet, but oh well. So yeah. And then I have a spread for themes for the year. So February I have a kitsune theme, a 9-tailed kitsune, and I put it in January's box. So I kind of like did to remind myself this is the theme, and these are the accent colors I want to use for this month, pink and gray. This is what I have so far for my cover image for this month. And this kitsune here, what I have left is in pencil, and I'm going to, I need to get a red fine liner pen to fill that in. And then I can erase it and the cover image will be done. But the saying I wrote on my cover image is, to make women learned and foxes tame has the same effect, to make them more cunning, which is said by King James I. I thought that was quite suitable for this month. And this is my calendar spread for February. All the 7 days of the week, and then my husband has his own column, so I know if there's anything going on with him that I need to keep track of, and different things that he's said he's going to do for cleaning. These are pages that are not yet complete. So this is Fun with Cross Stitch Safari Stitches. So here I'll put in the different goals for that game, and this is Fun with Cross Stitch Holiday, and again I'll put in the goals for that game here to keep track of. And then finally the spread for next week is on this page. and I've done Dutch doors, so it's a waterfall effect. So when you turn them, it's like this. So yeah, this is for this week. So instead, because I couldn't fit cross stitching in on these different days, it has its own column, and to keep track of my economy, which helps me from buying things or not buying things, so I can save money. But this month was a bit expensive, so yeah. So those were my spreads for February so far. So last part, so some shout outs, and they'll all be linked in the description box below. Please go over, watch them, follow them, do all the things, spread the love of the community. So first we have Jess and Ryan at Cross Stitching Smiles, Lindsi at Blushing Pink Stitches. She also has a shop and she designs patterns. I actually have one of her patterns, but I have yet to start it. Anita at the Violet Stitcher. She does all the things, loves dragons. So if you're into dragons, cross stitching, go watch her channel. And then there's Tinne. She's at either it's just stitching Baps or Tinne stitching Baps. And yeah, that'll be all for today. I have more. Of course I do. So next time I will try and do a floss tube will be the 1st of March. So I'll try and get it filmed on the 1st and uploaded on the 1st or 2nd. So it'll be a monthly thing, and that's what I think will work best for my schedule. So I hope you come back and see what I get done in February. Again, please like, comment, subscribe if you like the content, and I hope I'll see you in a month.